Well, what better day to introduce?
The top of the morning to you.
Yeah, Fanny Culbertson. Can I call you Fanny? I guess everybody in town does, right?
Yeah.
Mrs. Culbertson, Fanny. Well, we'll just visit here and talk about some of your old experiences and just talk together. You said that you used to row and your dad would say, "Don't let the waves take the oars from you."
Yeah. And my sister, she'd sit in the bottom of the boat crying, "Oh, we're going to bid round, we're going to bid round." But we never was. We always kept on top. And we couldn't swim either, so
Didn't you learn to swim in Ireland?
no, never learned to swim. Father wouldn't let us learn.
Gee.
I don't know why he could swim, but he wouldn't let us try it,
Maybe he was afraid to lose you, huh?
I suppose.
Yeah.
No,
How many children in your family?
11.
11. And you were.
I was in the middle, I was number 5, and there was 5 before me and 5 behind me.
In what part of Ireland were you born? What?
County Donegal,
Donegal.
yeah.
Hmm.
And we're on the very north coast
Is that in Northern Ireland then?
in Northern Ireland, along Mulroy Bay.
Did you know Bob Johnston in town here? He's from Northern Ireland too. And believe it or not, somehow, some Irish got into me. Do you know the name Craig? C-R-A-I-G?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we believe it came. Had you ever heard of the name Sparling over in Ireland? Sparling? S-P-A-R-L-I-N-G?
No.
Sparling? No, okay. When were you born?
26th May 1892.
1892. Can you remember that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
The only thing I can remember about the early days, on my very first day going to school, my mother got a new dress for me, and we had to walk that time about a mile to school, and I was only 4 years old. And I was going with my older sister. She was taking my hand, and she got me all dressed up in a new dress, and she kissed me goodbye. So that's the only kiss I ever remember my mother giving me. We walked to school, and I got so tired I cried coming home. And there was a police barrack close by, because there'd been a murder there before, and they put a barrack there. And she'd always say, "Quit crying, the police will come and get you."
That didn't help matters, right?
No, it
Not a
didn't.
bit.
Didn't help matters, no. So that was the time that the Earl of Leitrim was shot. They built that barrack there on the park and put 4 policemen in it to do nothing,
Huh.
only just to snoop around and see if they could get any news that would leak out.
What was the most pleasant thing you remember when you were a child? What fond memories do you remember back there?
No, that was the only thing that I remember, was going to school when I was 4 years old.
Oh, yeah. And then some of the hard ones were cutting peat, huh? Peat moss?
Yeah, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got men to do that, but then when they were drying, we had to turn them.
Uh-huh.
And then when they were cut, they were spread out, and one layer would be on top of the other like that, and all the way along. And then you had to go and turn them when they got stiffened up out on drier spots. And then when they dried for a couple of weeks, if the weather was good, you went along and you fitted them up.
Oh, you stooked them,
You know,
like
Yeah.
stooking hay.
yeah, fitted them up against each other to dry.
Yeah.
And then later on, if the weather was still keeping good, you put them into big long, what they call rickles, and pile them up. You get them to stand good, and then you put the wetter stones up on the top to get them all dried.
Keep them off the ground, right? Get some circulation under them.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much peat would you go through? That didn't burn as well as coal, did it?
Oh, we went through a terrible lot.
Yeah. You'd have to use 5 or 6 times as much as coal, maybe, or?
Yeah, well, we never spared it because we had lots of it.
Oh yeah.
We had to keep a fire outside going to keep boiler, 40-gallon boiler, and that had to keep going all day. Just boil twice a day.
What did you boil in it?
Potatoes
Oh,
or pigs.
oh, your pigs, yeah. Oh,
And then the last one was turnips
uh-huh.
for the horses and cattle.
Uh-huh. It was better to cook them, huh? They got more nourishment out of them
Yeah.
if you cook them, yeah. I've heard that an animal, if he eats potatoes, he doesn't get much nourishment out of raw ones. You gotta be,
They don't cook them now, they just put them through a chopper,
well,
put some chop with them, and that's all it gets.
Huh.
Well, they take an easier way of doing it now. We used to have to carry water from the burn, 2 14-quart pails, and your shoulders are wonder they're not.
they never fell off, huh?
No.
Oh boy, yeah. And my son Carl sometimes doesn't like to go to the kitchen to get a glass of water for me.
It's too heavy, is it?
I hope Carl doesn't hear this, huh? He might get mad. But did you have any wild animals on your farm? Were there any foxes or
No.
weasels?
The only thing we had was rats sometime, and mice.
You did? Oh.
We lived along a burn, and the rats in the summertime would make coves in the side of
Uh-huh.
the banks.
Little caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in winter time they come onto the stacks of grain
Uh-huh.
and onto the houses. So we had to keep after them with traps and cats.
Mm-hmm. How many cats would you keep?
Oh, about half a dozen.
You keep that many, yeah? Yeah.
And you had to feed them twice a day with milk,
Yeah.
just milk.
Did you ever squirt a cat right in the face when you were milking them?
Yeah, often.
Yeah. And then they'd sort of pucker up and lick it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hold their mouth open too.
So you get it the next time right in their mouth, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got this feeling that animals are a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for, you know. I think they've got little minds that are working.
That's quite true. They learn quickly.
Yeah. And they're all different too, isn't it true?
Yeah.
Some of them are real sharp and others are kind of slow. Yeah. Did you ever have a horse?
No,
No horses.
just two of the workhorses that
Mhm.
was at home.
No riding horses.
No, there was no time for that. All you got was hard work, hard labor, scale manure, and clean out houses, pig houses, and wash them out and wash the troughs
Mm-hmm.
so they could get the feed clean,
Mm-hmm.
no dirt in it.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet you raised some good animals.
Yeah, well,
Did you ever make sausage?
hmm?
Did you ever make sausages? Sausage? Or like blood sausage or summer sausage?
No,
or-
not in the farm, in the old country. I did in Saskatchewan, but not.
Not
Of course, we had no means of doing it there.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
But I made ones in Saskatchewan, lots of them.
Did you ever make any from venison or from bear meat or anything?
No, we never shot venison.
Oh, they're good, boy. Oh, I
We
love
weren't close enough to do it.
them. Yeah.
No.
How did it compare in Saskatchewan to Ireland? Was it a little easier in Saskatchewan?
I don't know. Maybe it would have been if we had got crops, but it was dry for 10 years, you know, and we got no rain.
Oh.
I never seen a drop of rain for 7 years.
Ooh. What happened to your creeks? They all dry up?
There was none there.
You dug your wells deeper then, huh? You just had to keep going down?
The well was 60 feet deep.
Yeah. Would you
Yeah.
have to dig it deeper each year because it would go down?
No.
It stayed up, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
And the pump was, it took all the strength you had to get it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you did get it up, it fell 2 pails. And then when you come back again, you had to do the same thing over again. 60 strokes, all you could pound into it.
Mm. Hmm. My grandfather had one on his farm in Minnesota, and it had a real iron taste. I liked that water. It tasted really, it was considered bad for washing things, but it had a nice flavor to it.
This was just, there was too much, 14% iron in it.
Yours, yeah.
Yeah.
It made washing pretty hard, huh?
Well, you couldn't wash in it at all. I had to put a full can of lye into a 40-gallon bar
Yeah.
for to soften it. The
Uh-huh.
night before, when I get a barrel full of water, I put a can of lye into it
Yeah.
and stir it up.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, the bottom of the barrel would be all white, the hardness would be gone. Then you could wash your clothes.
Mhm. Did you ever try to get rainwater when things were good?
We did, but there never was any rain.
Yeah.
In the winter, I melted snow all the time.
Yeah, that would be nice and soft.
And I used to fill the wash tub full of snow, pile it up, and I'd come into the stove and I'd put my knee under it and stand it up right in the stove. And then when it was melted, the tub was more than half full of water. I guess about 4 pails in it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. When I was a Boy Scout, we tried to melt water to make some soup. Good grief. We had to build the fire 2 or 3 times to get enough water to get enough for some soup, for a can of soup.
Yeah.
There's not much water in snow.
No, not terrible, not until it starts to soften and thaw a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever make your own soap?
I did many times.
Uh-huh. What recipe would you use for that when you made soap? Did you use ashes from a fire?
No,
No? Oh.
I had a good recipe for it too, and I'd make half a tub full at a time. Save all the tallow and fats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My grandmother, I watched her.
And then I used to put borax in it too.
Oh yeah. That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you use? Lye?
Yeah.
The same stuff you softened the water with?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That stuff my grandmother made turned out gray colored. Yellowish gray.
Well, this was just a cream color, like.
Oh,
You couldn't call it gray at all.
yeah. And that stuff my grandmother made, it would, if you had a cut, boy, on your hand, would it sting?
You bet.
It seemed like your hands were smoother after you used it too. And I think that's because it dissolved the outer layer of skin right off your hands
Yeah.
when you were washing with it. I'll bet you didn't leave the bar of soap in the bottom of the tub either when you were through, huh?
No, you bet it didn't.
That's something we have around our house. We always forget and leave it in the tub, and then it sort of softens up and disappears.
And just lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lost then, yeah. When you made your own, you were a little more careful.
Yeah. But you couldn't use it for bathing or anything, just for washing.
Mm.
Washing clothes.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever try to put some like flower petals in there or something to make it smell nice? Like rose petals or?
No.
I've heard of doing that, you know. You take and you boil the petals of roses or of some flower that has a good smell to it, and then you pour off the soup that you create when you boil those petals. And when you get done, then you pour that soup in with your soap, and it gives a nice smell to your soap.
No, I never bothered perfuming it
Mm-hmm.
for washing clothes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it must have been a little different life than we're used to, that's for sure. Hard to imagine some of the things you had to do, make your own soap and haul water. Cut wood, I suppose, huh?
Yeah,
Did Bill always work the farm?
yeah.
Yeah. So your husband was always on the farm. He never had to take a job off the farm to support the farm?
No.
No.
He
Yeah.
did when he was proving it up, you know, the homestead. He used to go
Mhm.
to the woods
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of winters to make a little steak for the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked $35 a month is all I got when they were in the woods cutting.
What did they use that wood for that they cut? Was that pulpwood or was it for
I
building?
don't know, they were sawing it anyhow.
They were sawing it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was pretty good sized timber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one year there was, I said it was good cutting and there was a good cook there. And they come in 4 or 5 Frenchmen and started to, oh, they should be getting higher wages than $35 a month. And then called and wanted to strike. So MacDonald, he said that they couldn't pay any more than at 35 a month. And he said if they wouldn't come a stick out in the spring that he couldn't give any more than 35. Take it or leave it. So they left. And he said they had a lot of, he and another man named Reed was a good sawyer. And they used to pile up more than, you see, they had to have so many trees every day before they got there to have a quota, like each couple of sawmen. And they always had far more than their quota. But they had them in the bank, what they called the bank, and then if they had a bad place on cutting, that they could go back to the bank and say they had filled their quota,
Yeah,
you see.
yeah. So they'd get ahead. They'd get a little ahead.
So then there come a fire through that spring and cut up, burned up all the wood,
Oh, boy.
all the lumber that was cut. So
Oh,
he said they'd been better off had they given men more wages.
Did you have horses when you came to Saskatchewan then?
Yeah, my husband had horses on the farm.
Uh-huh.
You see, he was out there 11 years before he went home to the old country
And got you.
to get a bride.
Yeah. And you were it.
And I was it.
And he remembered you.
No,
No. Oh.
I was only about 10 years old when he left the country.
Oh.
But was close by. We weren't exactly close by neighbours, about 8 miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
But the two fathers knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
They worked things out.
yeah,
Yeah. It worked out pretty good, didn't it?
I didn't think so.
No? Oh.
He was a good man, but then we were in poverty all the time
Oh.
for the want of crops. It wasn't his fault, it was climatic conditions.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
And the year we did, the last year that we were on the farm, that was in 52, we had a beautiful crop. There was 510 acres in wheat,
Uh-huh.
and the nicest crop, just so tall you could throw your hat on it and it wouldn't go down. It was
Is that right?
It
It
was
was
so-
real thick, huh?
so firm and big. And it was a very sultry day, and at night at 11 o'clock, I had opened up all the windows there of the house out to get it cooled off. It had been so sultry all day,
Mm-hmm.
and it started to thunder. And I got up and I had to close all the windows. Of course, we built a new house, and there were a lot of windows in it, in fact 32. So I had them, got them all closed, and there were a few cracks of under more, and a big black cloud hung over us. And my son said to me, "Does it look bad?" I said, "It sure doesn't. If there's anything in it, we're sure going to get it." And I had no sooner said than it was at it. Could hear pop, 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 the hail. And he and I went down to the back porch and watched it when we were in the shelter. And there was a heavy wind with it, and they just switched the grain like that and got it all cottoned up, broken. And the stems all broken. And we lost the whole thing, and if we had got that, we would have been well away. Because the neighbours that wasn't hail got 52 bushel to the acre, and ours was just as good as theirs was. That made me sick. So I remember my husband, I was saying, I said, "God help me," I said, "I wish I'd never seen this country." Oh, he says, "Forget about it." He says, "You get a crop next year." "Oh yes," I said, "you get a crop next year, and there'll come a hailstorm again next year." So, and we weren't subject to hail, and they only had insured 200 acres each one. My husband, 200 and Joe 200. That was the first year the farm rented. And he got discouraged. And he said he'd rather lose a good, be more worried about losing a good horse than losing the crop. I said, "The loss of the crop," I said, "we bought many horses for you."
That must be tragedy.
So I didn't sleep for 2 weeks, but he could go to sleep right away.
Isn't that a man for you? Hard to understand, huh?
Well, he didn't have. You wanted to get ahead, get some decent clothes for your kids, and get something for the house. They couldn't see it that way. Get along as best you can.
Well, I guess something like that would have happened to my grandfather, maybe losing his nets or something like that. You know, the storms, he grew up on Lake Superior. You've seen that on the map?
Yeah.
The great big lake, the freshwater lake?
Yes, I come through it when we come out past the end of it.
Yeah. You went through Thunder Bay? Thunder Bay on the railroad there? Yeah.
Yeah, we come in at Halifax, you see, and we had to come out all the way in the train.
Hey, was it true you could travel for a penny a mile? Was the rate a penny a mile per person? 1 cent a mile?
I couldn't say.
I heard that some other person had come like that, and it cost them a penny a mile. Of course, that might be kind of expensive in those days, huh?
I didn't take any notice of things like that at that time. But we were 9 days coming across in the boat. It was a huge, big boat. They called her Justicia.
Say that
and she
again?
was 10 tons heavier or bigger than the Titanic was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She was 9 feet longer and so much wider. And she had taken across the first consignment of American troops
For World War I.
to World War II.
Was that the Lusitania?
No, Justicia they called her.
Say that again, I didn't quite understand.
Justicia. Justia.
Oh.
Something like that. She was a German boat built by German capital and was taken over by the Americans.
After World War I.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, after the American troops was taken over, there was 11,000 soldiers, American soldiers, first consignment of the American troops. And there were 1,100 of a crew, and they said she wasn't full yet.
Was that a fact? Oh.
So when we were married on the 21st of February, we thought to sail the 1st of March, and they passed a restriction that women or children couldn't travel until further notice. And I couldn't get out, and then my husband, he didn't want to leave me, come out and leave me there.
Mhm.
And we didn't get out until it was May, my birthday. We boarded the big boat that day and took us 9 days to cross.
What year would that have been? When
That
you got
was-
married?
May 1917
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
on my birthday.
Uh-huh.
So I was in trouble then, and I was young.
Oh, you were upchucking.
Yeah.
You know the name upchuck?
No.
Upchuck? That's a good name. You were feeding your suppers to the fish.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was sick all the way crossing. It was a beautiful trip.
Mhm.
Just as calm it could be,
Mhm.
but just the same, the vibration of the boat kept me upset all the time.
Mhm. Did they have the smell of that fuel oil too?
And the
Exhaust?
doctor that was aboard said, Lady said it had been a rough passage, you never would have made it.
Oh,
Would been feeding you to the fish, he said.
really? You were that sick?
So then the train was worse than the boat.
Oh no! Did you get right off the boat and right on the train?
Yeah,
Why didn't you take a rest?
well, he wanted to get to the homestead as quick as he could. And we got on the train, and he had to take the train when the train was there to meet the boat, took the people off it.
Mm.
And after we got through the customs, then we got to the train, and there was smoke, the black coal smoke
Mhm.
was blowing back, and it was so hot we had to keep the windows open.
Mhm.
And everything, you were just choked with coal dust, and everything you touched was black.
Mhm.
And the reporter, black man, said, do you know how many towels you ladies dirty today? We said, we had no idea, but we were dirty too.
Mhm.
And they said, 400, he says,
On the whole train.
on the train, on the one coach.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the coach was full of people.
Mhm. I remember how clean you kept your house though too, so I can imagine. Is it supper for you now?
I don't know when they opened the door.
Oh, yeah, somebody came here. What time do you eat?
I'm all right for 5-10 more minutes, yes,
Oh, okay.
5 more minutes
Okay.
anyway. So,
So you were going along using up towels like they were Kleenex, right?
yeah, that's quite true. But then that wasn't all. When we got to the homestead, I didn't know about the hard water, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my hair was so dirty, and I had beautiful hair and a big head of hair that I could sit on. Now, I never said anything about the water, and I started to wash my hair. And it got clammy and sticky,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and, you know, going right in together in a row. And I couldn't get it. The more soap I put on, the harder it goes.
You wondered what was going to happen to your hair?
I didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh, boy. And that's a woman's pride and joy, right?
Yeah, so then I had 5 silk blouses, and I'd soaked them to wash them, and I couldn't get them clean.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was crying when he came in, and they said, oh, what's the matter now?
Yeah.
I said, look at my beautiful hair. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it was hard water. And I said, what do you mean by hard
Oh,
water?
yeah, you'd never run into it
I
before.
said, I never heard the name hard water.
It felt soft to you, huh?
So then he had to go to where there was a soft water well and get it full of a cream can for me to get my hair on.
What an introduction. That was a bad start.
That surely was.
Yeah, that wasn't hospitality. That wasn't Western hospitality. Yeah. When you came to the homestead, what did you think of it?
Not very much, so just the shack, a bedroom and one room for the kitchen,
Uh-huh.
dining room, sitting room and everything and combined. It was just a 14 by 20, that
Yeah,
was the size
yeah,
of the shack.
Yeah, about as big as this room. Not much bigger than this room, huh?
No, a little wider maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. They're playing "O Canada." Is that the signal for supper?
I don't know. No, a plain bowl, I guess, curling or something.
Oh, I see. TV.
They all fill in next